Working on a 2011 Audi A4 with the 2.0 turbo, and I'm changing the thermostat in this without removing the water pump unit that goes with it. So I just wanted to show that you can do it and some of the tools that it takes to get it done. The thermostat itself, I done a previous video identifying the correct thermostat, but this is the one on here, and I'll link the other video. Basically, just get all the hoses out of the way that you need out of the way. There's a screw that holds this on. This lives down in here. Pull it out of the way, and then the thermostat side. This particular one. Let's see if I can get you a picture down in there. See if you can see the screw from the mirror. Probably not. Stand by. Okay, so this is the underside looking through a mirror of the thermostat housing, and it's a 4mm, or potentially you can use a 25 size star bit on that as well. And then we've got the other side. Okay, so this is the right side, and again, looking through the mirror, it's real crusty blue from the coolant, and there's a little black bit showing. That's the other one that you have to remove to get the thermostat out. So my tool setup, to get the screw on the left side out, this one fits really well. In here it's got that 4mm hex bit on it. It's best to get this out of the way to give you full ratcheting movement down here. The other side, which is, I mean, they could have just made this easy, but they didn't. So you can take your Allen wrench and get it loose, and then from there either take, if you have a longer version of this, it's helpful. Otherwise, you have to take tiny turns to back this out. So I'm going to work on getting this unscrewed and then pull it out. I'm going to try to show, if I can find it through all this crap, the Allen wrench. There it is. So the Allen wrench is on that back screw for the thermostat housing. And I mean, it's literally just like 1/8 of a turn at a time to get it loose until you get your fingers on it, back and forth. So ideally, what would be perfect is if you have one of these that's basically twice the length, and this ratcheting one, that's fine, because trying to utilize, let's see, the head of this is too large to fit where it needs to go. It's going to bump and not fit. So really the only thing, it has to be something super skinny like that Allen wrench. But this will only work if you've got a longer bit, because again, this one bumps against, there's a little bump out down there that it hits against. Alright, so here's where I'm at after like 5 minutes of turning bit by bit. That screw is starting to hit part of the engine itself, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to just pop the thermostat housing down and see if that screw will come out with it, because I don't think it's gonna come out all the way on its own. So I'm gonna try that next. Okay, so we're out of the car, and when we were looking at this head on, this was the screw that was on this side that had to use the Allen wrench one tiny turn at a time. Okay, so I did in fact have to pull the thermostat housing out with the bolt to get it out, but I was able to unscrew it to about here or so before I had to pull it. And the reason I'm changing this is because the thermostat was stuck closed, so the car was getting a super hot temp. And then looking at this thing, you can see the rubber is just all messed up on it. But also, this is a Motorrad thermostat, not OEM, which again, here's the OEM number on it. So in some water pump housings, this won't fit at all. There is an aftermarket housing on it. It's the aluminum one instead of the plastic one. And both of these fit because there aren't little tines that this thing is supposed to slide into. It's just an open hole. So I still don't recommend the Motorrad, but at least it fit in the housing. So, and I also didn't see a gasket come off of this on either side of it. So anyway, I'm going to replace this, put it back in. So also, I started with this Allen wrench and I ended up going to this one. There is a length difference. So the longer one, they're sticking together here. The longer one makes it much easier to be able to get longer turns because the water pump is in the way over here and it hits. So if you can get one that's got a little bit longer shaft on it, that'll help you out, but it still takes forever. So also, if you have a T25 bit, that'll work. It does fit in there just fine, and it holds. So you can do a T25 or a 4mm Allen wrench. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put this back in. So the O-ring that comes with it replaces that O-ring. Seemingly, this is just a press fit when it sits in there like this, and that O-ring right here connects to the housing, which keeps the seal. So just make that note. It's gonna be kind of a pain. You gotta slide this thing up in at an angle and then try to get it to sit in its place, and then this piece go down, and then it has to come up at an angle and then get up, and it's going to take some force to get it up and into its slot. And then especially with that other bolt, it has to be over here when you put it up in there. Just make sure it's aligned and twist it as you need to. Okay, so it's back together, and that probably took me 10 to 15 minutes of just fumbling. You know, as you try to put the thermostat up, gravity wants to let it fall. So then you've got to align the thermostat housing with the thermostat while getting the bolt on this side lined up in it. I don't know. I would say if I had to do this again, I'd probably just pull the water pump off as a whole unit. The reason I didn't want to is because sometimes this union fitting right here, which is like 25 bucks new, doesn't want to go back and seal well, and then you've got gaskets on the back side of the water pump that if you've replaced them or haven't, sometimes you have to replace them anyway so you don't have leaks again, and then fighting with the belt on that side is a huge pain in the ass. So I've done it the other way before and it kind of sucked. I was hoping this would be easier, but honestly it probably took me longer to do it this way than just pulling it off. So anyway, it's done. I'm gonna put it back together and run it, but I just wanted to show you that it is possible and what you might run into if you do it yourself. Hope it helped you out. Thanks.